One of the things that always frustrates me is load shedding. Luckily, I don't have that problem anymore because I found the solution to rendering animations without worrying about when am I going to get near the PC to switch it off or switch it back on. Now, the way how it goes, because usually rendering MP4s, there's a problem. The problem with rendering MP4s is if anything happens, you have to restart the whole process. And that's usually what people do. And I live in a third world country, South Africa. And what is load shedding? Load shedding is basically, load shedding is when the power outage takes place, which is planned to save power, to save money, but it's because of, due to corruption and monopoly, we have this problem. Solar panels is the next way to go, but not everyone can afford solar panels, and then they're trying to get rules, and I'm going here on a tangent. So let me get straight to the point of that the solution is very simple. It's image sequences, and EXRs is actually the thing that we'll be using. So we have our scene here of the blend file. We have it here, and we want to render it, and usually it's on FFmpeg, and then you go to Martoshka or MP4s. But we're going to change the file format to OpenEXR. There's a difference between OpenEXR and OpenEXR multiplier. Multiplier is if you want to do multi-layered. That's when you get to Fusion or Nuke. That's for another time. I'm just going to go with OpenEXR, and then the codec is going to be DWA lossy or DWAA lossy, but we're going for the second one because it's smaller and the compression is a little bit more and you don't see a difference. The reason why we're going for EXR than PNG is because PNG, you're indoctrinated with so much resolution or data, but the problem is color data of the information that it has is actually far less than EXR. EXR works with linear data, color data. So it's all the way to 32 bits. So if you have fire, you can actually go and see in the detail. But there's a problem. We're going to see when we import it in DaVinci Resolve. Now, image sequence, you can put overwrite, but that's if you every time when you re-render the animation, then it's going to restart from 1 to whatever final frame it is. So you can switch off override, then render animation, and then you don't have the issue of like if the power outage then and your PC crashes or whatever, you don't have to worry about re-rendering the whole thing because it's the last frame that might be corrupted, or you just go to the next one. And then you have your image sequence. But the problem with DaVinci Resolve is image sequences with steps from 2 or 3, it does not see it. It's consecutive numbers that needs to see. And that I'll do in a separate video of how to do it quickly, because it can be a process, because trying to understand coding, I need to figure it out still. Anyways, now in order to get it in the link in the description, we have the GitHub, and you're just going to go to code and download the zip, and zip is going to wherever you want it to be save. Okay, now we have our zip. Open it, unzip it. We're going to unzip this thing, extract all, extract. Okay, so we have our filmic master. Open your DaVinci Resolve and you have your project file, can be new, old, whatever. You go to the not the project manager, project settings, the cog, and then you go to color management, open LUT folder, and then you'll have your folder with all the LUTs in there. You can see I've named mine, but just for the sake of showing this, you just take this, drag and drop it in, but I'm just gonna rename this instead to 001 filmic resolve master. Drag and drop it here, and it's at the bottom, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be all the way on top just to make it easier to locate, because I use EXRs quite a lot. You close that, update list, save, and then let's go to get our projects. Now we have our EXR. As you can see, it's totally blown out. If we play it, you can see it's blown out. we have our EXR here, and it's like all blown out. So we go to our color section, and then we actually add serial node, and right click, LUT. And do you see here on top, it's instead of going all the way down there, it's here on top. Then we go from scene linear to base encoding. Now it's just washed out. And what we do with this, add node, add serial, and we go do the same thing, but we're going to base contrast. There we go, from this to this. Also a little bit blown out, but the thing is it's much more color data in there. So we can go add another node and then go and customize this whole thing. So now we can just take the gamma, take it lower, and boom, we have our animation sequence is being put in. If it does not show the sequence, so here from the start when you import your media and it does not show this, it's on auto automatically, but if it shows like this, which is individual, it will show all the frames, every single one, but you want to put it in as sequence, but auto should figure that out, and then you just put it in, boom. We have our animation here, which looks really cool, and then there's the original. So it's very simple, and then you can just export it as your, let's put this mine coin, and location, browse, save, MP4, 265 encoder, and yeah, that's the add render to queue, render all. There's the render, came out very nicely.